Oh, great. Found it. Found it. Yes. So this first quadrant, that's where we are now. This one. Let me see if you are seeing it. If you are seeing it. Doesn't look like it's showing. There's probably a lag in the internet. Anyway, so the first quadrant, you have tasks that are urgent and important, right? So it's possible to have a task that is both urgent and important, and it's also important and urgent. But what kind of activities fall into this that is important and urgent? Oh, I have to do it right now. Crisis. Crisis is something you did not prepare for, all right? Projects that are driven by deadlines, they fall into this quadrant. Pressing problems, they fall into this quadrant. However, everything that, if whatever it is that you're facing at work, in your personal life, whatever it is, if it doesn't fall into something that can be life-changing, that if you don't attend to it right away, it's catastrophic, then it is not important and urgent. It could be important, but not urgent, right? For instance, if you have a long-term relationship and it's looking like it's going to crash because you refuse to call the person or something, it's an important task, but I mean, you can still push it forward. I'm not giving relationship advice, by the way, but then if you look at it in a certain way, there are certain things that are important but not urgent. Okay, so the very first things to attend to are things that is like crisis mode, is deadline driven. Okay, you have the clear deadline. Now, quadrant 2, you have things that are important but are not urgent in quadrant 2. That's blue. That's blue color, right? Things that fall into this place is, you're looking, okay, relationship building is there. So whether at work, whether in personal life and all of that, whether you're planning for a long-term activity, your personal growth is important, but it's depending on if it's going to cause a crisis or if there's a deadline attached to it. It doesn't move from the second quadrant. It stays within the second quadrant, right? So based on this, an activity, a task, whatsoever it is, can be important and urgent, which means we deal with it immediately. You do it first, right? And then it can also be important but not urgent, which means when you're done dealing with the deadline-driven projects, when you're done dealing with pressing problems and crisis situations, you then deal with those ones next. But then if you're a superman or superwoman or whatever it is, and you decide you want to do everything at once, I'll be rooting for you from a very far away distance, right? But this is it, right? Now, quadrant 3, you have things that are not important but are urgent. So you're working, you're in the midst of work, somebody sends you reels on Instagram, you don't have your notifications turned off on Instagram, somebody sends you reels and they attach a message to it and they're laughing with the message, they're like, I've been having a long day, I probably need to check this, or maybe it's an interruption to the course of your day. It might seem urgent, and I say, oh, look at this now, it might seem urgent, but it's not important in the larger scheme of things. Even in the small scheme of things, it's not important. You can always do it later. You can check it later, right? So everybody's watching, I don't know what people are watching now. It's been a while. But everybody's watching whatever show it is, right? Right now, everybody's watching it and you're feeling left out because people are talking about it. You've not been able to find time to do it. And you feel, oh, I have to be a part of the conversation. I don't want to miss out. And all. It seems urgent because you created a sense of urgency for it. But it is not an important activity. It's not. Okay, so you're in the middle of a task. Somebody comes to interrupt you. Yes, a phone call that you need to attend to. Yes, it is urgent because, okay, the phone call is coming. But there are some of those things that you can move and then attend to it later. Okay, so activities in quadrant 3 are neither important. They are not important, but they may be urgent. Now, activities in quadrant 4. And this is where a lot of us young people will spend our time, right? Activities in quadrant 4 are not important and they are not urgent. But the percentage of us that spend a lot of time doing this and then we complain of burnout is staggering. Okay, so you spend a lot of time on a phone call that could have been an email. Right? A phone call that could have been an email and you're there talking for like 30 minutes. Some of you are very good at sending voice notes that are 15 minutes long when it could have just been a text message that the other person can read in how many minutes and move on with their lives. So you're both wasting your time and wasting the other person's time. Because what emails and text messages would force you to do is to put your thoughts together and make it cohesive. But no, we have to send in a long voice note and expect the other person. Now you're taking your own interruption and using it to upset the other person's day because something that could have been a text or could have been, again, I'm not giving you relationship advice. In your relationships, your work settings, that might be the ideal thing, but think about it this way. You need feedback from someone. You're in the middle, maybe you're in a meeting and you require feedback immediately, and you send the person a message, oh, I need to know this, and the person decides to send you a 4 minutes voice note when they could have sent you a message that you could have just glanced through and you're immediately able to go on with your meeting. How would that feel? In fact, feelings aside, how would that help you as achieve your objective at that time? It won't. So when next you're doing that to other people, please put that at the back of your mind, right? So busy work. You're doing so many things. Say you work in clinical pharmacy, for instance, and there are probably patients to attend to or something. But at the end of the day, you have a presentation the next day. How do you balance it? What is more important at that particular time? Is there something else that someone else can do? Right now, time wasters is not just individuals. So even you yourself can be a time waster for yourself. You can identify activities that would be time wasters for you, and then you then realize that it's not. You need to be able to identify where they fit. Okay, now pleasant activities. You want to binge watch a series on a weekday. It's not, maybe your kind of work would allow you to do that, but it doesn't. It's not an important activity, and it is not urgent. The fact that everybody's talking about it does not mean you have to talk about it. Okay, I've spent a lot of time talking about this one, but taking us back to my previous question, the previous slide, which was everything is urgent and every important thing is urgent. So do we want to change our responses to everything is urgent or to retain our previous responses? Because we have some people saying true. Have we had a change of heart? It was only for mother. Yes, if it's it, I was actually the only person that said false. I think maybe 2 other people also. Right. So when you say everything important is urgent, I can assure you it is not. Right. So please have it at the back of your mind. Look at the color grid that we have here. Anything that is important and urgent, you do it first. Everything that is important but is not urgent, you do it next after doing the thing that is important and urgent. And then everything that is not important but is urgent, you can always do it later. The one that is not important and not urgent, you don't have any business doing that. If you're trying to unlock peak productivity, if you're trying to move from where you are presently and get somewhere else, all right? That does not work. Okay. I can see someone's hand is up. Collins, do you want to say something?
Okay, Famimika, you can continue. There will be a Q&A session. I'm sure Collins will have the floor then. Collins, if it's a mistake, please, you can also give your hand.
All right, thank you. I just saw the chat box that someone sent you a 1 hour and 3 minutes uninterrupted voice note. Wow. Nah, I can never be. I'll probably block it. Just not up. Anyways, moving on. Yes. So I mentioned at the beginning that we're going to talk about 2 things, and the first one was the productivity illusion, which we have talked about. Again, we're rushing because we have just a few minutes to talk about this. And the next part is self-leadership. All right. So self-leadership, in very simple terms, is the ability for you to be intentional with your thoughts, your actions, and your energy, right, towards achieving an objective, achieving a meaningful goal. That's what self-leadership is. Now, you might be wondering, why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because at the early stage of our careers, autonomy is very limited, right? You can't make a lot of decisions, but self-direction is not limited. Where you are going to at the end of the day, it's still within your control. Okay, you're not able to make decisions in your place of work entirely. You're not able to call the shots. You're not able to decide what budget should be used for what. But the direction that your career, that your own life is heading towards, it's entirely within your control. It's not limited. Like the possibilities are endless. That's why we're talking about self leadership, because you have to be intentional with where you put your energy. You have to be intentional with all the activities that you're doing that then requires you to put them in a time management matrix and make take actions that matter at the end of the day. All right. Now, another thing is, I mentioned at the beginning, so many of us young people, we fall into this trap where we're waiting for someone to help us. Nobody's coming to save you. I'm sorry if you don't like it. It is what it is. Nobody's coming to save you. Right. I'm not really sorry, but nobody's coming to save you. If you keep waiting for your managers to develop you or to help you do something, you keep waiting for your boss. Oh, they didn't send me for training, so I'm not going to do any training. Oh, they didn't do this, so I'm not going to do this. You're going to be stuck for life. I'm probably sound like a prophet of doom right now, but it's just what it is. It's been about almost 10 years for me as a pharmacist, and I can assure you that I haven't seen half of what my senior colleagues have seen, but what I have seen so far is enough for me to tell you for free that you are responsible for your own outcomes. Each of us are responsible for our own outcomes. So, why is self-leadership important? There are three major things that you need to know about self-leadership, right? And the very first one is self-awareness. Simply means knowing yourself, right? But I'm going to talk about this in terms of work, in terms of career. Yes, I've been accused of being too serious. I own it. It's my full chest. It's fine. So I'm going to talk about this in the context of work, right? So self-awareness is, you have to know what works for you. Oh, how do you get your work done? How do you react to feedback? Are you someone that you do better with positive reinforcement? Are you someone that negative reinforcement makes you better? Like, oh, they say, oh, that was a terrible job. You're like, okay, I have to do better. Or you're someone that once somebody says that was a terrible job, you're going to shut down. Or you're like maybe some of God's favorites that either way, you're like, I'm good. You have to know how does that's self-awareness in this context, right? In the context I want to talk about. And you have to also know what triggers you on the job. Do you get triggered based on what other people are doing, or is it entirely what is your own work? When you say, oh, I'm feeling burnt out, I'm feeling stressed, I feel like there's a productivity block, I feel like I'm not moving on, and all of that, what are the triggers? So for you to be able to lead yourself effectively in this context, you have to understand those things, right? So that is self-awareness. Now, at this point, it requires you to reflect, to sit down. People can tell you are the best thing since fried rice, but somewhere in your mind, you're like, nah, I'm more of amala and ewedu. I don't like amala and ewedu, so that's why I'm using that as an example. Yeah, nah, we're not exactly on the same scale. I'm not into vegetable angle. I'm more of like more of the rustic feel. People think you're like fried rice or whatever, but you spent the entirety of your career pretending to be fried rice. You need to be able to call yourself to order. That's what self-awareness is. If you're going to move forward in your career, otherwise you just realize that you end up doing the same things over and over again, and there's no sense of fulfillment. Okay. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, oh, what are the things I need? This is where journaling comes in. I discussed a few times with some of my friends, and you realize that keeping track of the things that you do at work actually lets you become more aware of who you are as an employee. So many of us, we like saying our employers are bad and all of that, but who are you yourself, inside your mind as an employee? If you are not self-aware, you might not be able to understand how that works. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about, I've talked about self-awareness. The next one is self-regulation, and that's in red. Self-regulation, another word for that is self-discipline. So this is where time management comes in. I talked about time management matrix. This is how you know that, oh, okay, What do I need to do? Do I want to quickly watch that Instagram reel because it's going to give me temporary satisfaction, or do I want to stay focused on the job that I have been employed to do, or the job, if you're a sole proprietor or you're an entrepreneur, the business that you're trying to do, right? Self-discipline, self-regulation means that you you have outlined the activities that you need to do. You've outlined the things that need to be done for the second half of this year to be great for you, and you are focused on it. This is where tools like doing deep work comes in. This is where tools like being able to manage your distractions. There's a lot of digital distractions now. Now I don't have notifications turned on for any of my apps, for any of my social media apps. If I don't open them, I'm not going to see it because I know myself. If I see a very funny preview of a maybe Instagram or Twitter or something, thank you for the time check or something, I'm going to want to go look at it, right? So self-discipline. And then the next one is self-motivation. Self-motivation means that you are doing the work even when it is boring. In fact, especially when it is boring. Now, for you to advance in your career, routine is not the enemy. All right? Routine is not the enemy. The boring tasks are not the enemy. Because if you neglect the boring, routine, mundane tasks, you can't build something long-term. That's just what it is. So your daily goals, you have to come in every day and do this and do that and do that. Self-motivation means you look at the daily things that you have to do and you ask yourself, how does this align with my long-term goals? If you get to the point where you're having a whole lot of no's, like, oh, it doesn't align, switch careers now. It's not, I mean, it might look like a tough decision, but switch if that's what you need to do. Now, the most interesting part of this slide for me is this. The fact that in between self-awareness and self-regulation, you have responsibility. What this means is you have identified yourself, you know who you are in the workplace, you know what you need to do, you know what your triggers are. Then you also know that you need to stay disciplined. The skill that you need to get here is responsibility. So you are responsible for who you've identified yourself to be, and you are responsible for staying on task. All right, that's the connection between both. Now, for self-awareness and self-motivation, you know who you are, your potential. You know that you can do so much more. The thing here that makes these two go together is potential, because when you've identified that this is my long-term goal, this is where I want to get to, or this is who I am currently, and this is what I need. This is where I need to get. You can see the vision, right? The intersection of the two of them is your potential. It then becomes that you are taking responsibility for that potential that you have identified. That's what self-leadership is, right? And at the end of the day, the third part, you have choice, which falls between discipline and self-motivation. Okay, I've realized that this is where I want to go to at the end of the day. These are the things I need to focus on. Am I going to do it? You have a choice to make every single day. Am I going to do my work the way I should do it so I can get the results that I want? It's a choice that you make every day. So when you look at it, self-leadership is powerful because you know who you are, and it becomes your responsibility to make the choices that will ensure that you reach your potential. It's very simple. It is your responsibility to make the choices that ensures that you reach your full potential. And it keeps going and going and going. Again, nobody's coming to save you. See, if you're able to hack this, then you're good. If you're able to hack this, you are good. Now, to round up, I'm going to try to move very, very fast. To round up, right, in summary, what self-leadership and not falling into the productivity illusion does for you is it forces you to know what matters. And this is an exercise I would just like you to do on your own. Every week, set your intentions. What do I want to achieve this week? What do I want to achieve this week? And then how does my work that I'm doing daily, how does it align with my long-term goals? That's the very first thing. So you know what matters. You know that gist you're going to gist for 1 hour in your cafeteria or whatever, it's not important, right? Then you do the work, especially when it gets boring, because that is where you learn. It's like muscles. It's like you're building muscles. It's like exercising. That is how you build the muscles that you need when you now get into the career that you really want, or the position of leadership that you have been eyeing for the last 3, 4, 5 years. The muscles you built as an entry level employee is what you're going to use. And you can only build those muscles by doing the boring everyday tasks diligently. There's no shortcut. That's what it is. Right. And you also have to own your growth. You can track your progress weekly, because we've said to know what matters, you have to set your intention. At the end of the week, which part of this thing did I achieve? What did I achieve? And ask for feedback. Right. Even if it's negative feedback, get the feedback. Feedback is not the enemy. It's what you choose to do with it that determines the outcome. Right. And money back guarantee. If you do this for a month, right? If you do this for a month, it means that you're being very intentional with your self-leadership. Let's see what is going to change at the end of just 1 month. Try it. Just do. You're not doing so much, right? You can just pick one thing. Just try it and see what changes at the end of the month. It's a good thing that we're ending June already. We're starting the second half. So in the month of July, try it out and see what happens at the end of the month. Be diligent about it. Okay. I like to ask people that that join our classes in the personal brand cafe this question. If a stranger studied your routine today, what would they say your priority is? Would they say your priority is actually getting ahead in your career? Or would they say that your priority is Squid Games? Or your priority is being on Twitter, X, and dragging all the people that need to be dragged, defender of the universe, right? What all the blogs are saying. Oh, I don't care. Okay. So if they have to study your thing, would they be able to tell that your priority is improving your productivity for the second half of the year? Can they tell? It's fine. You don't have to tell us. It's fine. But answer the question with your church mind, right? Like, what would they think your priority is? Because you can lie to everybody, but you can't lie to yourself. So if you want to really be productive, you need to do the work that needs to be done. And I'm going to end with this. I've said it so many times in the course of this session that you're responsible for your outcomes, right? And one of the ways that you make sure that you move from point A, where you are currently, to point B, where you want to be, is that you have to keep learning. If there's anybody that challenges me about learning in my friend circle, I have a friend, her name is Bukola, and when she's not learning things that she's going to use to transition from pharmacy, she's currently in finance, and it's one of the most impressive things that I have seen in the course of my career. She identified courses she needed to take, identified the funds that was needed to do it, and she went after it. It's really, really inspiring because it's your responsibility. So you have to constantly learn. When I run into problems with maybe trying to optimize revenue flow or something at work, or trying to optimize a particular process, low-key, I will bounce it off her. Sometimes she doesn't know that that's what I'm doing. Well, I'm not ready to pay consulting fees yet. She doesn't know that's what I'm doing, but she always comes with responses that will make a difference. And that's because she has gone beyond just what pharmacy school gave her to identify other things she needs for her to be relevant. I'm just using that as an example. And make use of the tech tools that you have. It's not just Instagram that will be doing. Use Notion to plan your projects. Use your calendar apps to keep track of activities that you have to do, and make the best use of the time, right? And like I always tell everybody, thank you. Like I always tell everybody that I have a chance to talk to, it's not the big tasks that would give you a name. It's the small ones that you think don't matter. If we were to have a conversation about leadership today, right, I'm sure Ethel and I, we have a lot of stories that we can share with you on how it's the little committee that you worked on maybe some 5 years ago that is making the difference today, because you walked into a room and somebody remembered you from an activity you did 5 years ago that you cannot even remember. So every task you get is an opportunity for you to build a reputation. It can be a good reputation, can be a bad one. The choice is yours, right? And I will always end with this. I like it because you always make people who come and tell me that I'm dragging their shit. Yes. You want results, you want to be productive, you want to have made it, you want to blow. But yes, have you been consistent enough to actually deserve, not to want to? One thing is, I want a million and one things, but have you been consistent enough to deserve the results that you want? If the answer is no, start with the task that I have shared with you in the course of this 23-minute session, I believe, and see where that takes you, and see what results that you are actually able to achieve at the end of the day. All right. So thank you very, very much. And I think this is the fastest I've spoken in a while. But thank you very much for listening. And yes, Philomena, how are we doing for time?
Very well. You tried. Very, very
Okay.
well. It was
All
very
right.
effective. You did
Thank
well
you.
with time.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Famurika. Thank you so much. This was personally, like you said, everyone be responsible for yourself. So let me be responsible for myself by saying, personally, this blessed me. This was very insightful for me. I've come across the time management matrix once or twice, but this helped us do a deep dive, kind of like awakened us. So thank you so much for this session. Thank you for telling us about everything being our responsibility, telling us about our potentials and our choices, how every little thing that we do affects the bigger picture. Thank you so much, Famimika. I believe some people will have questions, but please indulge us. Um, oh, sorry, Ifoma, please. I believe you can correct me. You can maybe later. Okay, so please, I would like to introduce our second speaker for this session. And please, just take down your questions at on a piece of paper, or just save it somewhere on your phone notes, and we'll take it after the second session, please. Thank you so much. Okay, our next speaker is no other person than Fam Ethel Mba. Ethel is a dynamic Nigerian trained pharmacist with about a decade of experience across clinical pharmacy, public health, and healthcare leadership. She holds a master's in advancing clinical pharmacy practice from the University of Hertfordshire, UK, United Kingdom, and had led nationally recognized initiatives at the intersection of pharmacy, innovation, and health equity. From 2021 to 2022, she served as the national chairman of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, the YPG, championing professional development and system-level advocacy. Ethel is currently developing Jolly Health, a telemedicine solution designed to expand access to healthcare for undeserved Nigerians using simple mobile tools. The project reflects her commitment to scalable, community-centered innovation. She volunteers as an educator and mentor to kids and teenagers, showcasing her versatile skill set and global perspective. Her interests include mental health, pharmacoeconomics, and digital health policy. Whether leading outreaches, building tech, or mentoring the next generation, Ethel is redefining what it means to be a pharmacist in the 21st century. So please, can we use our emojis, our applause on the emojis to please welcome Fam Ethel Mba. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome. It's so good to have you. It's nice to see you too.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel.
My God, you guys get ready for a time of laughter.
Okay, can I share my screen, please?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay, we are still in the. Okay, just give me a moment, please. Okay, here we go. Can you see?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. Pharmacist Yimika, you finished saying the things I wanted to say. Oh. So now what will I now say now? It is well. Oh. Okay. 1 minute, please. Uh-oh. No. Oh my God. Give me a moment, please. Okay. All right, let's do this. Introduction. All right. The purpose of this event today is to share practical, actionable strategies for productivity in 2025. And Pharmacist Timika has done a great job in telling us all we need to do for us to be productive. And Famimikama, you were just screaming on top of our head. Yeah, I don't like when people tell me what to do. You will just be telling us what to do. Why? Must we do what you say? Anyway, because I want to be productive, I will try. I'll try my best. No promises. Okay. All right. Hard work alone isn't enough. Working smart, knowing oneself, and building habits make the real difference. Like Famimika already said, she has said everything. Know yourself. Man, know thyself. Shebi? We need to know ourselves and we need to work smartly. It's not about hard work anymore. It was in the days of old that hard work was admirable. Now smart work is what it is. That's where we are at. Okay, why self mastery, the foundation of productivity? Productivity is a sum total of energy, focus, and intention, like Kimika has already said. Self mastery means knowing your strengths, triggers, and rhythms. Okay, so about knowing your strengths, we know I'm very sure we've heard about SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. What our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what our triggers are. And Famimika was saying her own weakness is opening reels. I send her like 15 reels in a day. So you are saying that this is what you do. That's why you reply my memes and reels 3 weeks later. It's okay. That's fine. Even my younger sister is here too. You are laughing. I send you reels, a lot of these things. But well, I'm hurt. You hurt my feelings, but it's okay. I forgive you. All right. The benefits of self-mastery is confidence, better decisions, less burnout, sustainable results, and bigger impact. We need to be able, when they say, if you're about to cut down a tree, consistency matters. The first strike of the axe doesn't do a lot of work. But when you keep doing that and doing that, eventually there's a very big impact. And then you go around feeling like someone who fell a tree. I mean, it's not an easy task, felling a tree. There are 5 pillars I'm going to be talking about. The first pillar is knowing your why and setting clear visions. For me, there's a joke I always go about saying I'm a Jill of all trade, master of a few, mistress of a few, right? And the reason, like Yimika already said, is that you can always try again. I know that some of us will be like, I've been 10 years in practice, 15 years, 9 years, and nothing seems to work. And in Nigeria, all of us are doing what will put food on our table. Sometimes it's not necessarily what will put food on the table. Sometimes serendipity, like a friend of mine will say, you just find yourself in a place where you didn't think you could make it there, right? And when you find yourself there, you're like, oh, really? This is the reason I've been moving around all the while. I didn't know what it was I really, really wanted to do, So you know your why, set clear visions. Your vision might be different from another person. Like you have friends and everybody has what it is that's important to them. You need to know what's important to you and know what truly drives you. For me, I got into pharmacy profession to help immunocompromised people. But right now, I've realized that, there's a lot of NGOs out there doing this already. So let's go to underserved communities. Let's help those who don't have access to healthcare. Let's try to bridge the gap. Finally, I found my why. That's me personally. So yours might be, okay, I'm good with public speaking, health education, public health, community pharmacy, can be regulatory, social medicine, whatever. You can even want to go to the military. You might say, the issue of insecurity in Nigeria currently, I want to go into the military. That's still something. That's a why for you. Think beyond task, focus on impact and legacy. Okay, You want to say, I want to retire in 50, when I'm 50. How do I get to that point to retire when I'm 50? You make conscious efforts, steps. My next 6 months, the next 1 year, the next 2, 5, 10 years. No, and then you go back and reevaluate. Very important. You need to have a vision board. A vision board doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have one whiteboard pasted on your room. A vision board might be on your computer. It might even be a book, like an exercise book where you write down whatever comes to mind. I always tell people, have a think pad. Always write when the ideas come, write it down, because you might not always remember. The future, you have future self exercises. Where do you want to be by December 2025? Ask yourself that question. Where do I want to be in the next 1 year? Set smart goals. I mean, we've heard about smart goals. People keep talking about smart goals. Oh, it has to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. We know these things, right? But how do we make practical efforts to achieve those things? Actionable steps. Take 15 minutes this week to define your top 3 whys in 2025. I want you to note this down. 15 minutes. Maybe you wake up, okay, today is already Saturday. Tomorrow is Sunday. Any day you just wake up in the morning. The best time. Anyway, some people are night owls. Anyway, some other people are early birds. So whichever way, when you know that it's your peak productivity time, just take 15 minutes. Stay in a very quiet place and write down your whys. What's important to me? Is it family? Is it career? Is it helping people? Do I want to go into politics? Whatever. Pillar 2, optimizing your energy and focus. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know if you're hearing the call for prayer in my background. Okay. Pillar 2, optimizing your energy and focus. Know your peak hours. You know that thing they say, man, know thyself. They taught us in philosophy. I'll give you an experience I had. When I was in 3rd year, we had a biopharmaceutics exam. We had an exam, a 2 p.m. exam, finished at 5 p.m. My usual self, I would have gone straight home, eat, sleep, wake up in the middle of the night and study, sleep again, wake up early in the morning and study. But my classmates were like, oh, we want to do group discussion. We need to do group discussion. And I joined them after the exam. Imagine writing exams at 5 p.m. Went to one of the classrooms. Everybody was doing discussions. I can tell you that nothing entered inside my brain. It was a waste of time for me. And by the next day, I was struggling. When I went home. I couldn't, because I wanted to do what everyone else was doing. And I also went for my first ever night class in my 4th year. My first ever night class was in my 4th year. Pharm Chem, medicinal chemistry, we had a test. I failed it. I'm not even ashamed to tell people because I wanted to copy. My friends like, night class. And I carried myself and went, and it did not work. Oh, some of us like to sleep. They don't call me Sleeping Beauty for nothing. All right. So are you an early bird or a night owl? Whatever time that works for you, guard that time. Guard it with all diligence. Do you understand? When I say guard it, what it like? I mean, if you're an early, if you're a morning person, set your alarm. When you set your alarm, wake up for 2 hours. Don't look at your phone. That phone, I know, really, you just open it. You want to see what is happening on the social media. Don't do it. Focus and do what needs to be done. If it's at night, you are very productive. Before you go to bed, set 2 hours time or whatever, and focus and do something. Use micro breaks to prevent burnout. I'm going to tell you about Pomodoro. Digital detox. Notification off. Focus on. Psn-Ypg has already said it. Optimize your workspace, physical and virtual. Sometimes your workspace needs to be your sacred and very safe haven. Like if you are someone that likes cute stuff, you can get a pink chair, an ergonomic chair. If you're a pink person like me, get an ergonomic chair, you spin around. They say you paint your room, you're like a study. If you have a study space or whatever, anything that it is that makes it cute and gives you that satisfaction, you want to go in there and All right, actionable tips. Identify 2 hours called the golden window each day dedicated to the most important work. What's the most important work to you? If you're building, if you're a startup, if you're a founder, if you're building 2 hours every day, you will see how much progress you're going to make. If you have an exam coming up, whatever it is you need to do. All right, then there's the 80-20 rule. Pillar 3, strategic planning and prioritization. Psn-Ypg has said this. There's something called the 80-20 rule. Focus on the 20% of tasks that drives 80% of results. I mean, we know that sometimes the bureaucracy to get things done, Famimika, Famifesita, you know these things. When we planned the conference in Abuja, some of the offices we walked into, we put the appointments, the application for appointment letter on the day of the appointment, which means, and then we backdated this, and then it was signed that we dropped the letter sometime in the past, because sometimes that little knowing people before then and then trying to put in the 20%, that 80%, it gives you 80% of the results that you're looking for. Instead of going everywhere and spreading yourself thin, sometimes you need to focus. Using the Eisenhower matrix, urgent versus important, Family has talked about this. You need to batch similar tasks, avoid constant switching. Take, for instance, I'll use myself as an example. I'm currently working on a project with Psn-Ypg and Farmer Alliance. And I also have an exam, a licensing exam coming up. I have my personal startup I'm doing and all that. So what I try to do is every day I put a particular task for one day. That is all I'm doing. No need switching from this one. Yes, if an idea comes for the other thing you're doing, it's not a bad idea to quickly note it down and then just, take a few notes and then focus on what it is you really, really want to do for the day. So that at the end of the day, you know that you achieved the task. Then actionable tips here. Start your week by writing down 3 non-negotiable tasks. These are your priorities. Take, for instance, this week is coming up from tomorrow. Ask yourself, what are the non-negotiables this week? Do I want to take my car for servicing? Do I want to finish that online course I started? Do I want to put in a letter to request for a promotion? Do I want to ask for feedback from my boss? Is there a project I'm currently working on? What are your non-negotiables? Write them down. At the end of the week, you reflect. An unexamined life is not worth living. They said that. So you need to examine yourself at the end of every week to say, okay, have I done what needed to be done? Pillar 4, continuous learning and adaptation. You need to learn constantly and adapt. You're not a tree, you can move. I used to tell people, you're not a tree, you can always move. If it's not working here, try to adapt, Skill stacking. What will make you indispensable in your field? For Famimika currently, she's a marketing science mogul, or how they call that. She's one of the big wigs in the marketing field and branding and all of that. How did she get here? Was that what was taught in pharmacy school? No, that wasn't what was taught in pharmacy school. But she put in the extra work to get to where she is. Feedback, you need to listen, learn, and grow, like Famimika said. Feedback is a gift. What you choose to do with it is what's important. It's not the feedback in itself. Don't think about how the person said it. I know that we as Nigerians, we like, see the way the person talked to me. The person was just telling me the feedback. No, forget about how they said it. Don't look at what they wrote on the motto. Enter inside the danfo and get to where you are going to. That's what's important. You are going somewhere. Look at that person as a means to an end. Don't care. You don't have to care. Because, like they used to say, if you stop and look at every dog that is barking, you will not go to where you are going to. Yes. So focus. We really need to focus. One new skill per quarter, a book, a course, a tool, keep evolving. Like for me, I've come to a place of acceptance that before, when we were in secondary school and primary school, we used to read a lot of novels. E. Harlequin, Sidney Sheldon, all of those people, Judith McNaught, we read a lot of books every day. We finish books. But right now, I can't do that anymore. What do I do? Audible. That's the new, for me, that's what I do now. I listen to audiobooks. I help myself to keep up with, because we always find a way, like you say, adapt. You need to try to adapt. You can't stop reading because, I don't have time anymore. Like I used to tell my friends, I'm an elderly person. So because I'm an elderly person, I'll now decide that, okay, I'm not going to read anymore. No, it's not possible. You shouldn't do that. Try to take a course. And there's something Psn-Ypg is doing that I really love with University of Washington. There are so many courses every quarter. They are not doing project management, what is it called? They are doing leadership and management in health, clinical management of HIV, introduction to epidemiology. There are so many courses there that you can always take, and it will help you. That whole group study, it also helps, where everybody pulls everyone along, and at the end of the day, you get your certification, you get your knowledge. Okay, Pillar 5, well-being and sustainability. This is my favorite part because, like I said, they don't call me Sleeping Beauty for nothing. I love sleeping. Everybody who knows me knows that very well. Sleep is very important. That's your productivity superpower, right? You cannot do it. That thing we used to do in pharmacy school. I remember, I don't know if you people know from Amoto Show, one of our lecturers in pharmacy school. There was a day he was like, "Hey, yeah, as a pharmacy student, you're not supposed to be sleeping for more than 4 hours." I'm like, "What?" He said, "So how many hours do you sleep?" I said, "I sleep 6 to 8 hours." He's like, "You're not serious. You don't want to pass this pharmacy." I said, "I will pass in Jesus' name." And somehow I made it while sleeping optimally because I try to work with my own schedule, knowing myself, you have to know what works for you. Sleep is very important. And like they say, if you don't choose a day to rest, your body is going to choose that day. And it might not be convenient. So choose the day. Fuel yourself, good food, movement, hydration, drink water. Water is very important. Those of you that drink Coke, I drink Coke too. I'm also a culprit, but I drink a lot of water too. Try to move, don't be sedentary. Good food. Sometimes you don't need to spend so much money for you to be able to eat very good food. Mindfulness, breathing, reflection, short meditations. Meditation is very important. Just take that time, sit down, think about your life. Sometimes in my house, what I and my husband do, we just sit down quietly and you'll be like, "What are you doing?" So I'm thinking of my life. Oh, it's part of the meditation, right? Like you're trying to take quiet time for you to think and reflect on whatever it is you're doing. Boundaries is equals to freedom. You need to set boundaries for yourself. Learn to say no. Some of you, they call you, and "Can you do this for me?" Yes. "Can you do this?" Okay. You are just agreeing anyway. Yes, yes, yes. After you have finished saying yes, you disappoint everybody. Say no first. Then every day call you and ask you, "Can you?" "No, I cannot." Later, now call the person and say, "Oh, okay, I've figured it out. I think I can." That person will be like, "Oh, yeah, she's busy, but she took out time." They will even respect you more safe. Even if you don't get rep, they will give you small rep. Sorry, I use PG, but it's okay. Actionable tips. Schedule unplugged time weekly. Switch off your phone, laptops closed, recharge fully. It's not every time. Yes, we used to meet ourselves on Twitter. All of us are dragging each other on Twitter, but sometimes we take the time off. And I tell some people on WhatsApp that the reason you don't see me so much on WhatsApp like you see me on Twitter is because nobody knows I'm online if I don't retweet or comment. So you just be there quietly. You don't have to reply any messages. You are hiding from everybody. And Pamimika was talking about voice notes. Me, I like to send voice notes and I also like to listen to voice notes. There's a reason it works for me. Because that time I'll spend typing, I can just put the voice note and be listening in the background while I'm doing something else. I use it as a podcast and I'm doing something else. Voice notes work for me personally. And I always tell people, if you need to reach out to me and that information you need to give me is important, send a message with all the details or just send me a voice note and leave it. When I come, I'll answer you, I'll reply everything all at once. So different things work for different people. Like I said, know yourself, know what works for you. All right, the Pomodoro technique is developed by Francesco Cirillo. It's a time management method using a timer to have work breaks, break work into intervals. You have 25 minutes focus time and then short breaks in the middle. Say, take for instance, you have your 2 hours time you want to read. That's another thing. Some people used to study in pharmacy school for 6 hours. If I study for more than 2 hours, I become very restless. It will be like you are tired by kidney. Like, in fact, so this Pomodoro technique work for people like us with the attention span of 2-year-olds. So you work for 25 minutes, you set a countdown. After 25 minutes, you set a 5 minutes break, 5 minutes to 10 minutes break. Another 25 minutes, 5 minutes to 10 minutes break. Before you know it, if you've done 4 full cycles, that's 2 hours gone. You've done real focus work in 2 hours. For those people that have the grace of God to do that for 8 hours, I wish you all the best. You can still continue do this. After you can go on. We are rooting for you from afar. The benefits of the Pomodoro technique is that it increases focus and productivity. It encourages deep work, reduces mental fatigue, and makes large tasks manageable. Like Famimika said, when you are doing tasks that are boring, that is when you are tested. In fact, that's the battlefield. It's not when the project is exciting. That's all that everybody can do something when it's exciting. But at times when it's boring, you just have to try to do the work and put in the time to get that done. Famimika has already talked about this. If it's urgent and important, do it now. If it's not urgent, schedule it. Tell yourself, okay, this is important, but it's not important. But it's not urgent. Let's see if I can do this on Friday at 4 p.m. Can we do this on so and so time? And then you fix a time and get it done. If it's not important and it's urgent, you can delegate the task. Actually, you can always delegate the task. Ask if there's any, ask for help. Productivity, you don't have to do everything on your own. That's one thing you need to know. If it's not important and it's not urgent, please, by all means, delete it. It's not necessary. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Okay, like she said, crisis, deadline, planning, growth, distractions, important time wasters. You already said this one. Unica said this already. The benefit of the Eisenhower metrics: it boosts strategic thinking, helps reduce unnecessary stress, prioritizes high impact activities, and encourages long-term productivity. Like we said, if you're scheduling tasks, it helps you to be able to build long-term productivity, and it gives you time to be strategic. It's not every time, it's not everything that is happening that needs your attention. That's another thing. It's happening here, you rush. That's where they are seeing you. You are now the SOS person, what they call it, firefighter. Chicago fire is you. Anywhere it's happening, that's where they are calling you. So you'll be sure performing activity. You are busy. It's sometimes mind your business. Stay on your lane. They no call you, no go. All right, how to combine both tools? You can use Eisenhower metrics to prioritize tasks. Use the Pomodoro technique to execute them efficiently. All right, so let's say I schedule a task for Thursday at 5 p.m. That with the urgent and not it's important but not urgent. Let's say I schedule a task for Thursday 5 p.m. I use the Pomodoro technique to execute it efficiently because I've set 2 hours to get this task done. And when you join them together, it helps you to be focused and have purpose-driven productivity. Productivity isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. Like Famimika said, do what's important. If it's not important, yes, I know that I have sent you people reels that you have not opened. I still carry you for my share, but I understand. Me too, I'll not open your reel for 2 weeks so that you think I'm also very busy. Ha! All right. You use simple tools to master your time. Start small, stay consistent, and track your wins. You need to start small. If you know that 8 hours thing is not working for you, start with 2 hours, start with 1 hour, start with 30 minutes. It's little, and then you build momentum. Especially, say you have an exam coming up, and you know how all these professional exams are. You've spent a lot of money trying to pay for all of those things, and then you have an exam coming up. You need to start small. You don't have to start because when you start so much, you become overwhelmed and then you get discouraged. If you have, let's say, a question bank of 8,000 questions, and you have, let's say, 6 months to the exam, you reduce it into bite sizes. Say, okay, I'll do 50 questions every day, I'll do 25 questions every day, I'll do 100 questions every day. Tell yourself, you put a timeline to it. At the end of every week, you can write, say you do, let's say you do 1,000 questions every week. It's not on Saturday, you now start struggling to do the 1,000 questions. All of you doing online courses, I know all of you, that's what people used to do. I know that thing. You will now do that 1,000 on Saturday night. So you start on Sunday. You do the first 100, you rest. Do 50, you rest. Do another 200, you rest. Rest in Jesus' name. If you're a Christian, rest. You need rest. It's not that you now be doing the. Anyway, me, I will not lie. I've typed 3,000 word essay in one day before. I will not lie. I did it. So we know ourselves. All of us, we know ourselves. We know what we are capable of doing. And the worst part is that if you've ever typed 3,000 word essay in one day, the fact that the knowledge of just knowing that you can do it, it's a chance you are going to do it again in the future. So try not to do it again, okay? All right, so in summary, define your why. Clarity drives consistency. Manage your energy. It's not when you have that. Sometimes your productivity might even be that you want to be closer to God. Yes. And I'll use both Christians. Maybe you say you want to be doing morning and night devotion. And then when it's 6 o'clock for your devotion, that your friend that is in Canada, that is a different time zone, or Australia, because it's convenient for them, they now call you by 6 o'clock. You now decide that, let me just quickly pick this call. Or if you're a Muslim, when they do call for prayer, it's that time that person will now call you, be like, hey, I've been waiting for this phone call. Let me just quickly pick it now. I will pray later. if that's what you've decided that you're going to do. Because let me tell you something. If you honor your commitments to yourself, it improves your confidence level. It helps you. It gives you that sense of self, that sense of integrity, that you take yourself seriously. And it will also spread out to how other people see you and how they treat you. Because if they see you as a serious person, they will also treat you as a serious person. If they see you as somebody that, she go say she go do and she no go do, that's what she they do, who will respect you like that? And you're not being productive, you're not being consistent, you're not confident, you're not helping yourself. Nobody is here to save you. No, me, I have help in Jesus' name. Give me that thing, I say nobody's here to save me. You will save me, other people will save me. I will call Steve, Phil, I will still call all of you, people will save me. All right, manage your energy. Yes, we said that. Ruthlessly prioritize. Focus on results, not activity. Like we said, if we've said that we are going to do 1,000 past questions, please focus on the fact that you do 1,000 past questions. Don't be trying to be busy. Say, let me just quickly look. Focus on the thing that is important. Have you done the 1,000 questions you said you would do? This is you personally. If you can lie to other people, you can't lie to yourself. I know I said I can lie to myself. Don't lie to yourself. There's a temptation to lie. Don't lie to yourself. All right, commit to growth. Be the pharmacist everybody wants on their team. Think of your job as whatever task you try to do. Think of it as you are in the accident and emergency. We know that those days when we used to do internship, like Psn-Ypg said, you cannot always control yourself. You can't control everything. That time we used to do internship. There are some people that when you're on call with them, you just tell yourself, I'm alone today, because if you tell them, please, can you attend to that patient? You people will have shortage before tomorrow morning. Don't be that pharmacist. Be a productive pharmacist. Be that person everybody wants on their team, so that you people will not be having shortage. Even in your community pharmacy, it's not when they tell you attend to this patient. Tomorrow patient come. That pharmacist been give me erythromycin. He give me, tell me, I take am once a day. If you are working with somebody, I'll give you people an instance. I used to work in a community pharmacy with Steve, Phil's husband. And something happened one day. A patient called our boss and was like, the pharmacist there gave me medicine and wrote nonsense on the box. She wrote, the person, he did not say she or he did not say pharmacist. But my dad was like, I know my pharmacist. There's nobody that did that thing. But she didn't say that to the customer. She was just like, Ma, are you sure? He said, yes, I'm very sure. They gave me another thing. He said, okay, tomorrow bring it to the pharmacy. She said she knew that she was very, very sure that that's it. And guess what? The patient came, did not want the pharmacist to counsel them. They said they knew the dose, that their brother from abroad, that is a doctor, said they should buy the thing, that they know the dose, and carried it and went home. And then now started calling madam to say that they did not say. So imagine that we were not those people. She would have had doubt. Her heart would shake. She would be like, hey, what thing these people don't do again? They don't go give patients wrong medicine. They will not kill somebody. No. You have to be that pharmacist that people can count on. Protect your health. No success is worth burnout. Protect your health. I saw somewhere yesterday on Twitter where someone said they were going to retire at 20 when they were 63 years and a half. They were planning to do their retirement, and then at 62 years they had cancer and died. So you need to protect your health. Yes, we know that some health conditions are inevitable, but you have to protect your health. It's very important. Take the time off to rest. Schedule your rest. I'm not saying when they say schedule your rest, is that time you are going to Cubana Lounge to go and sit down and drink alcohol. That's not rest. It's not rest. Or that's when you want to go to somewhere in the middle of the night and say, we have work, so let's jolly. Tomorrow morning you are now hungover from yesterday's rest. You now need rest from the rest that you rested. We mean the real rest. And you need to master yourself, and the results will follow. Like Psn-Ypg already said, you need to master yourself. Thank you all very much. Thanks for coming to my YouTube channel. So now we are at the question and answer session. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Please, we listen, we don't judge. If you see me on social media, I'm a different person. I'm not that person you think you. Two different people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very, very much, Pametel. Thank you so much. This was a session filled with a lot of laughs, a lot of self-checks. And one thing that jumped at me more in your session is the fact that you really highlighted on well-being and sustainability, especially now that a lot of us actually have a problem with attention span. So you really hammered on that, and you really, for example, the Pomodoro technique that you even talked about. It's my first time hearing it actually, and that's so. It's my first time hearing the word Pomodoro, but I know that that's something like that exists, but I didn't know what it was. So thank you so much. This was so insightful. Young pharmacists, I believe you have questions, comments. Now is the time. The floor is open. We would be doing a hard stop at 7:30 so that we make this a 1 hour 30 minutes thing. So please, if you have any question, just drop it right now in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and you would be given the floor. Thank you so much. Okay, so someone has a question already. You can also highlight who you want to answer the question, or just leave it like that if you want anyone to take the question. So the person said, oh, I lost it. Okay, I got it back. So the person said, thank you so much for this beautiful presentation. If you don't feel fulfilled and motivated in a particular job, do you advise resigning? Psn-Ypg or Psn-Ethel? Psn-Ypg, she highlighted your name. So please, if you have an answer for her, please go.
Why don't you feel? If you just resign because you don't feel motivated.
Sorry, we're losing you a bit.
Can you hear me now?
It's a bit fake. Hello?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. She said, if you don't feel fulfilled and motivated in a particular job, do you advise resigning?
Yes, so I said the question to ask is why? Why don't you feel fulfilled and motivated? Because if you just up and resign, you run the risk of just jumping from one job to the other. And as much as it might have its own pros, in the long run, again, it's not the best if you're not moving for the right reasons. So you need to figure out why you don't feel motivated, and then find a job that can help you answer those questions. That's it. For some persons, you also need to take a break. So if you've been working for a while and you need to take a break and figure out, okay, what exactly makes me tick, and how can I get the best out of it? I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, family. I don't know if I got your name correctly. Please permit me. You have a question. You are unmuted and your hand is up. Okay. Please, does any other person have a question?
Yes, ma, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate your time. But my question goes that the person that has opportunity, although that person was a female and she takes her priority, she takes everything for herself. But as a young pharmacist or incoming pharmacist, she's under control. How can that person achieve her goals sometimes?
Please, I would like if you can type in the chat box, because your surrounding was a bit noisy. I struggled to hear you.
Hello, Phil. I think I got her question. Like,
okay.
If you're a female young pharmacist and you have your goals, how can you achieve? Well, like Psn-Ypg said, we currently, as a young pharmacist, you may not necessarily have control over your time and the things you do. I'll give you an example, a very personal example. When I did internship, I stayed back home to do my internship. And you know what it means for you to be a daughter in the family house and you're going to do internship. It can be difficult to an extent because you still need to do your chores, you still need to cook, you need to do this before you go to work and all that. But one thing is important is you need to let everyone know what is important and what you're doing at every point in time. For instance, everybody knows that I need to go to work from so and so time. If I'm on call, this is when I'm leaving the house. If I'm going to work, and so when you do that, people know what is important. They know that around 6 a.m. in the morning, nobody can tell you to do anything because they'll be like, no, she's going to work. Oh, do you understand? They know you have your boundaries. Yes, that's the word. You need to have boundaries. People need to know what's important to you. And you also need to not fall short. Make time for the other things that are important to everyone else because you're an African lady, so there are so many other things you do. So, and now combining being a wife, a mom, and doing other things too, you need to also schedule time for other things that matter and let people know in advance, and that helps a lot. Also, cut yourself some slack, be kind to yourself. Some timelines are unrealistic. It's in those days you used to say, I'll marry at 25, I'll have my children before I'm 35, you now do this, I'll now be a pharmacist by 24. ASU strike will just be laughing at you. Internship placements will be laughing at you. Everything will just be smiling in the corner because so you need to cut yourself some slack and be very kind to yourself and know that sometimes these timelines, people that think, there's something I always say, those that matter don't mind and those that mind don't matter. So you need to know that, don't think about what people say, what is everyone else doing. It's not important. Face your journey. Your journey is only yours to take. No one is going to help you run your race. So know what's important to you. Thank you.
I'm grateful.
Thank you so much, Mama Ethel. That summarizes it. We should all know our journeys and we should always be kind to ourselves while taking responsibility for the little things that we do every day that creates the bigger picture. So, young pharmacists, if we do not have any other question, or is there any other question, please would like to answer your question. Okay, in the absence of any, thank you so much, Fam Yimika. Thank you so much, Fam Ethel. This was very, very insightful, very, very interesting. And what I think is that this is more like a New Year resolution, like a half New Year resolution, for lack of a better word. Since we're starting the rest of the year, July to December, we can take this weekend, this evening and tomorrow, maybe after service for those that go to church, and just reflect and kind of like summarize what you're going to be doing for the next half of the year. Plan yourself better, look at we have a recording of this session, so those that want to have it, please we'll reach out to you and share it to you, or we'll find a way to get it across to other young pharmacists. So one thing I'd just encourage us is that let's make new resolutions, or say you already have existing resolutions, I believe, from the beginning of the year. You can review them, look at them, put them, at par with the Eisenhower matrix, see how you can break them down and achieve reasonable and realistic results before the end of the year. You can do it. Capacity building committee, and we believe in all young pharmacists. We believe in all of you. That is why we created this session, knowing that this will help us, try to recalibrate and, help ourselves to focus on the things that matter. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. I'm really glad that this happened. I learned a lot. I'm sure everyone too did. Thank you. So this is us saying goodbye. It was a very nice session, and I'm glad that we were able to manage our time well. We really wanted to stop by 7:30, and this is 7:29. Thank you so much, everyone, for your contributions, for making it even very engaging by always sending emojis and all that. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Till next time, and please plan to attend the Dala conference. We hope to see everyone there. Please come. Let's make it very, very bubbly. Thank you. Bye. Have a good evening.